Hello there, everybody. Answers by guest. Video number 3, finishing up the week 11 final games here. Hello there, guests.
Hi.
All right, remember, guys, like us, follow us Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, and Patreon. Always look for those hashtags. Bye weeks again are Jacksonville Jaguars, Miami Dolphins, Seattle Seahawks, and the Tampa Bay Bucks. First game on my list here is the Dallas Cowboys at the Minnesota Vikings. The opposite happening for both teams. Dallas losing to Green Bay in overtime. CeeDee Lamb looked amazing. Zeke supposedly coming back. How does that affect the running game there? And I'm a fan of Schultz. I know you're not a big Schultz guy. Could this be another game where Schultz plays well for the Cowboys? On the flip side, they called it the game of the week. I think you're more right. It was kind of a sloppy game all around, especially in that fourth quarter, but it definitely was exciting as hell. Jefferson banged up, though. If he's going to play, but how does that affect him, though? Does that mean more targets to Hawk and Thielen because he is banged up and they're using him more as a decoy? Obviously, you're starting Dalvin Cook, but let's talk about how this offense could play against this Dallas defense that's pretty damn good.
Yeah, welcome to the upset portion of Answers by Guest recorded shows. Dallas is going to win this game.
Ooh.
And it's not even a question. I was having a conversation with a couple guys at work today, and I was just like, Dallas is going to win. I mean, it's a perfect storm. Dallas blew it last week. Minnesota got lucky last week. You have Dallas, I think, favored by a point on the road. I mean, that tells you almost all that you need to know. Regardless of the Justin Jefferson thing, being a little bit banged up, Dallas is going to win this one. The Schultz thing, let's keep in mind, why did Schultz have such a good game? Michael Gallup got hurt and was not really playing. The main reason that I've been off of Schultz, I mean, he's fine, but it was always, not only was he before this season splitting with Darwin at tight end, or Jarwin, but it was also the Michael Gallup thing. And I was like, when Gallup plays, Schultz doesn't do too well. When, Gallup doesn't play, Schultz is that guy. Gallup's going to play this week, so we'll see. But it's going to be all hands on deck. Minnesota can put up points, with Cook and Jefferson. Osborne surfaced a little bit. Thielen sort of taking a little bit of a back seat once Hawkinson's came in. Hawkinson's going to do fine against Cowboys. They stink against the tight end. Minnesota's going to put up points, but I feel like Dallas is going to play with a little bit of urgency after blowing it last week. They're playing in the dome, so it's not an outside surface, which they're used to, the turf. And I just think the Vikings, and Rob, it's not your week because I had the Jets losing to the Patriots in the second or first video, whenever it was. They're getting the Belichick treatment. But I think the Vikings are going to lose this one. I just feel like the Vikings are I don't know if luckiest is the right word, but the luckiest 8-1 that you could have at this point in time.
Don't be messing with Kirk Cousins, bro.
They've snuck out of a few games that they probably should have lost. And I just think that Dallas in this one is going to get the best of them. CeeDee Lamb, obviously. I'm fine with Schultz in this one, even though I can't recommend a guy that I don't like. But the reason I don't like Schultz is just because I feel like Gallup eats into him. But I think Gallup will be involved. I think they're going to need all hands on deck against Minnesota. Hopefully they keep Pollard at a 70%, leader in this. They should. There's no reason to even make it 50-50. With Zeke coming back, you're going to the playoffs. There's no mistaking that. I mean, the whole NFC East might make the playoffs at this point because the NFC is so bad. And all four of those teams are pretty good, at least record-wise, with the emergence of Washington and the luck of the Giants. So preserve them. They'll use them a little bit. Maybe if they get close, he punches a touchdown, and that sucks for a Pollard owner. But you use Pollard, Zeke, if you have to, I guess. Vikings have a pretty decent defense. And I talked about the Vikings players. You definitely want to play Hawkinson, Cook, and Jefferson, regardless of any type of injury scare he might have. And that's just really about it. Not touching Osborne or Thielen. But both of them are fine if you need a wide receiver 3. I wouldn't really use either one in the flex. I'd rather use another position over those guys. You got to have something else on your bench because the Dallas defense is good. Dallas defense was up by 14 points. Green Bay came back, closed the gap. Christian Watson, they were doubling Alan Lazard, and nobody could stop Christian Watson because he was just faster, and they weren't prepared for him. They did not prepare for Christian Watson, and he beat him. And they made him pay, and then they got Green Bay, as far as I'm concerned, got lucky in overtime to stop them on 4th down. Dallas should have kicked the field goal. What is with these stupid coaches? I've been saying it for seasons. Kick the damn field goal. Screw analytics. Analytics is the stupidest thing ever, ever. I'm so sick of the word. I'm sick of the usage. Football, of all places, it's in a few years, I would hope that people go back and look at analytics and are just like, what the hell are we doing? Like, you are on the 30-yard line. I don't care. You kick the field goal. It's a 47-yarder. Well, guess what? Then kick the damn 47-yarder. We're paying you millions of dollars to kick a ball. Do it. And stop trying to go for on 4th and 4 in overtime of all times. So whatever. Dale's going to win this game. You can mark it down. If I were a betting man, I'm all over this. All over it.
It's funny. My buddy Mike was saying, he's like, they should just trade coaches, the Cowboys and Green Bay. It's like McCarthy wants to go back. Obviously, Rodgers likes McCarthy and so on and so forth. And it's like LaFleur, imagine him with Dak Prescott and that kind of offense, you know? I was like, he's like, do they trade coaches? I'm like, they could. I mean, technically.
Yeah, sure.
So that would be funny. But you got my Jets and my Vikings losing, man. I don't like that.
I think there actually was a coach trade not too long ago. I think they traded a coach for money. I feel like that happened a few years ago. I feel like
I'll look it
happened.
up after I go into the next game here. All right, yeah. Cincinnati Bengals at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Cincy coming off of their bye week. It was the Mixon show before the bye week. Let's talk about how the offense is going to go against this Pittsburgh defense. Great call by you last week, being the guesstimator. Number 2 defense in fantasy, or I guess in regular football. I'm not 100% sure, but I know they were number 2 defense in one of those. Yeah. It was in fantasy. Okay, so I for some reason feel like this game is going to be a low-scoring, close game because of the division. Everyone's seeing kind of the opposite. Talk about who we can start from the Bengals. On the flip side, Najee touched the ball 20 times. I'm a Najee owner. I was ecstatic, but he was on my bench. So I'm trying to figure out between him and Pollard who's going to be the guy that I'm going with. Let's talk about that running situation over there, as well as I see a lot of Pickens questions. People are making it seem like Pickens is number 1, but Deontay's not going away. Let's talk about who we could see playing well for the wide receivers and even Freiermuth.
Lo Siento Darko. Pittsburgh wins this game. 2 in a row. 2 in a row for Pittsburgh, 2 in a row for the upsets. It's going to happen. If Minka comes back, it is 100% guaranteed that Pittsburgh wins this game. He was very close to playing last week. If he plays this week, it's 100% guaranteed. Week 1, Pittsburgh against Cincinnati. I know the offensive line was markedly worse than they are now for the Bengals, but Joe Burrow threw 4 interceptions. I think they sacked them, I want to say, like 6 times. They're at full strength if Mika's back. And TJ Watt's the difference. They're at home. Their offense is just good enough. You had Najee running with purpose last week because Jaylen Warren is nipping at his heels. Chase Claypool is the only difference on offense, but Pickens is more acclimated now than he was in week 1. And you have Kenny Pickett instead of Trubisky. So their offense is, I would say, at worst, exactly the same. And their defense exactly the same. And now they're at home. Pittsburgh coming off a win. Pittsburgh, I think, is going to win this one. And I agree. I think this is going to be on the lower end of things. I could see a 20-16 game, the Steelers pulling it out 20-16, somewhere right in that range. And all they have to do really is make sure that, um, I'm not worried about Mixon. Mixon had his 5 touchdowns 2 weeks ago before the bye. A little bit fluky, um, but he'll be okay in this. But you'll probably see what Mixon was doing before that 5 touchdown game. But all they really have to do is stop Higgins and Boyd because there's no Chase. In week 1, there was Chase. So Pittsburgh's going to win this one, Rob. And I want you to write that one down too. It's upset number 2 of this video, number 3. It's going to happen. It's going to be low scoring. The defense is going to do it because they're at home. If it was in Cincinnati, not a chance. But it's in Pittsburgh. The terrible towels will be out, and they'll get after them. I'm fine playing Pickens. I suggested Pickens over Watson in the league or in the group. Listen, aside from the 2 touchdowns, Watson didn't do too much. And he scored 20 points, and that sucks if you played Pickens over him. Until this game, when Pickens gets 80 yards and a touchdown on like 4 or 5 catches, well, guess what? Now he's got 20 points. So it's about the same. And I could see Pickens having 80 yards, 5 catches, and a touchdown. That is not out of the question. 5 catches for 80 yards and a touchdown. I mean, that puts you right at 20 points. So, or just about.
You know what's funny is that they used Pickens last week in the run game too. You saw that from Claypool previously.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen that from Deontay previously. If he can get that in there where you're getting 2-3 rushes on an end around, that doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
That doesn't hurt.
So,
Minka is coming back, by the way.
Yeah. So their defense at full strength. If you did not pick up the Steelers defense when they were the guesstimator last week, you need to pick them up as soon as you're watching this video. Just pick them up. Their schedule the rest of the season is beautiful for a defense. Their offense is, a little bit hindered by the rookie Pickett, but it's serviceable. It's good enough to keep the ball going as long as he doesn't make mistakes. The defense is so good. The matchups are so good. They are a sneaky defense to close out the season, ladies and gentlemen. And 2 in a row after this one.
All right. Last traded coach was, I should have known this, Herm Edwards to the Kansas City Chiefs from the New York Jets.
That was a long time ago then.
2006.
10 years ago?
Yep.
6
I guess these are the biggest names. I'm just looking at a couple different ones. The Jets have been involved in quite a few within the last 20 years.
Interesting.
Quarterback
or coach trades.
Coach trade. Bill Parcells, Bill
They
Belichick.
trade them for money, right?
Draft picks.
Oh.
John Gruden was one to the Raiders from Tampa Bay.
So maybe that was the last one that I was thinking about they traded, right?
That was in 2002, I want to say.
Oh.
But even still.
Well, it was the first stint of Gruden on the Raiders.
That is correct there, sir.
Okay.
All right, let's go on to Sunday Night Football here. Kansas City Chiefs at the Los Angeles Chargers. All right, so MVS is healthy. Hardman on IR. Juju, who knows if he's playing?
He's out.
He is out. Okay. Tony hopping into the end zone last week. I don't know. I don't like Darius Tony. I don't know. Maybe I just don't like his persona. I don't like his energy. Dude, but the adjustment of the gloves before catching that ball was awesome. Talk about the wide receiver situation. They tried to pick up Eno Benjamin, I saw. That was a big news that came out. Obviously, that means that there's no trust in that backfield with anybody that's there. Let's talk about that situation. On the flip side, Mike Williams practicing. Keenan Allen's practicing. Everett seems to be a go on Sunday. This Chargers offense could now be fully healthy by Sunday Night Football. They always play the Chiefs well. Is this going to be upset number 3 on your list?
Bet your ass it is. This is number 3 in a row. Chargers beat the Chiefs. It is in Los Angeles. They are going to be back at full strength. Keenan Allen is going to play. Mike Williams is going to play. Gerald Everett is going to play. Carter proved serviceable. He's going to play, even though he's a little banged up. Palmer, he's fine. Eckler's fine. They've gotten Spiller a little more involved. They're at full strength. The Chiefs are not. As you said, Juju's out. Hardman's out. Tony. This does have the guesstimator.
Wait, what? Maybe I should have been more prepared for this.
Sky Moore. We've been waiting. Now, there's going to be questions, and people are going to say, well, Justin Watson. Yeah, well, guess what? They're going to use Justin Watson as well. But Sky Moore has the speed. Sky Moore has the pedigree. We've been waiting all season for a Sky Moore. All we needed was injuries for Tony to be viable. I said, and I revisited what I said on Tuesday on Answers with Guests, that I was not huge on Kadarius Toney going to Kansas City because he was 5th or 6th on the depth chart, even behind Justin Watson. But he's gotten injuries in front of him. All they have is Marquez Valdez-Scantling that's healthy out of those guys. So Tony obviously is a play. You have to, regardless whether or not you like his persona. I'm with you there. No, I'm with you. I'm with you there, Rob. But you have to play him.
Yeah, I agree.
There's no reason not to, especially because you get the Sunday Night Magic. But guess what? Sky Moore is sitting on your waiver wire. I will almost guarantee it, unless you're in a really deep dynasty league. And this game is going to be, at worst, a back and forth, with the Chargers offense being at full strength and Kansas City's offense not being at full strength. It's going to be back and forth, and they're going to need offense. And Sky Moore is going to give you at least one deep ball for a touchdown in this one. I'm going to say 14 points out of Sky Moore this week as a guesstimate. 14 PPR or even half-point PPR points. He's going to be an excellent fill-in for you. They're finally going to get him involved. They will use Justin Watson because they use all 4 of the top wide receivers. But they're down 2, so the 2 to fill in are Sky Moore and Justin Watson, and it'll be just fine. And Kelsey will do his thing. Now, the running back thing, I think that they were after Eno, not because they don't. I mean, I've said for years that they don't like CEH, which is why they keep bringing guys in, why they drafted Pacheco or brought Pacheco in. I think that they were more after Eno because Jerick McKinnon is who they want to be the guy come playoff time, much like they did last year. But he's not durable. I mean, he's super skinny. He's brittle. He's suffered through injuries throughout his career. And I think they wanted to bring in Eno so that they have a Jerick McKinnon backup. Because Eno is that pass-catching guy, just like Jerick McKinnon. They have their backup for the 1-2, which is Pacheco and CEH. So they wanted to have another guy for if McKinnon goes down, we got to have somebody to fill in this pass catching back. So I think that's more a detriment to the durability of McKinnon than how good they think Pacheco or CEH are. Regardless, they didn't get them, so it doesn't really even matter. And Eno's going to be used and screw David Pierce owners in Houston. But Chargers are going to win this game. And I don't know how or why. Maybe it's changed, but I did take a peek at this line because I did dibble-dabble. And it was Chargers were +5. And I don't know if that's dropped. But it would not surprise me if come Sunday this is down to about 3.5. What's it at now? Still 5?
Still at 5.
Chargers back at full strength. They haven't looked good. This is a game that they need. They need this game. And the Chiefs are the best team in football, I think. I know that everybody still feels the Bills, but I just feel like, Patrick Mahomes is just playing on a whole nother level. Saw a stat. Maybe you saw this as well. In only 2 more career games than Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes has like 3,000 more passing yards, double-digit more touchdowns, double-digit less interceptions. So it's just playing in 2 more games than Josh Allen. How much better Patrick Mahomes is than Josh Allen. Josh Allen's a beast. Josh Allen used his legs. They left the rushing stats off of that, of course, because that's how statistics can lie. But it was just interesting to see. And I think it's true. I think this season, the MVP, to me, uh, should be Patrick Mahomes, I think, in the driver's seat. Over Allen, over Hurts. Tua, maybe, because they're undefeated with Tua, Miami. He hasn't lost a game yet this year. All the games they lost were Bridgewater. So if that keeps going, maybe Tua gets it. But Patrick Mahomes just playing on a whole nother level right now. But the Chargers are going to be hungry for this one. With all their offensive weapons back, I think they get up for this game Sunday night in Los Angeles and win.
It's funny that you mentioned the Josh Allen thing. I think I did see that comparison. But you got to think about it too. Pat Mahomes was a year behind Alex Smith. He had Tyreek Hill. He had Kelsey. Josh Allen got thrown right into the fire as soon as he got into the league, and he
was bad.
He was bad the first 2 years. I mean, more towards the end of the second year, you saw the come around coming, but that first year was not good for him. So, interesting. All right, let's go on to the Monday Night Football game here. San Francisco 49ers at the Arizona Cardinals. A lot of Debo questions, a lot of Debo trades I've seen this week. People are worried, man. There's a lot of mouths to feed now. Elijah Mitchell out touching Christian McCaffrey. Let's talk about that situation, how Shanahan wants to make sure that he everybody runs the ball pretty much. I think everyone's going to have a run this game. Brandon Ayuk keeps on coming through. Let's talk about Kittle's kind of that iffy one as well. Let's talk about that situation. On the flip side, Ertz now on IR. Seems like he's out for the season. Hopkins is the one that they're going to, but they get a big piece in Marquise Brown. But the only thing is Kyler Murray going to play? If Kyler Murray doesn't play, is it a downgrade for everybody? And do you still hate James Conner, or can we actually play him?
Well, a couple things to touch on here. One, I think CMC is going to run angry in this one because of the news. He didn't look happy on the sidelines last week when Mitchell was in there often, more than him. And you could see it on his face. He's like, "This is weird. I'm not used to this." So I feel like when he's in there on Monday night, he's going to be running with a little extra purpose. As a CMC owner, I'm just like, how about you just do what you normally do? Because I don't want you to overexert yourself, Mr. Christian, because sometimes when that happens, you get injured. But I feel like he's going to be running with a purpose, and against Arizona's defensive front, that's probably a good thing for fantasy purposes. I also think Debo coming off the injury is the reason that you haven't seen too much from him, especially last week. I think that you see Debo get going in this one. It was a lot of Ayuk last week, a lot of Juwan Jennings, who's my sleeper dark horse man of the year. Because if Debo goes down for an extended period or Ayuk goes down, Jennings is right there. He's doing it with them on the field. So I think I like Debo a lot in this one. Elijah's a fine play, sure. And Ayuk's a fine play. Kittle's a fine play, sure. I would love to keep the upsets going here. But I think the Niners are just getting too close to full strength. They're a very scary team at this point. I'm glad that my Packers are pretty much screwed and done for the year because I don't want to lose to the 49ers in the playoffs again. Because if the Packers were on the road to the playoffs, if somehow they sneak in, which I don't see it happening, they'll play the 49ers and they'll lose. The 49ers is a team right now I think nobody wants to play. I don't think Kyler Murray even helps Arizona at this point, if he even comes back. Like, does he? Has he really helped them? Like, I've sort of had it with Kyler Murray. You know, everything he put us through last year, Rob, in the ADG League, And I'm just sort of seeing him as just like, I don't know if he makes it much longer in the NFL. Like, he probably should just cut his losses before he gets to, 26, 27 years old. I'm not sure how old he is. I'm going to guess he's around 25, maybe. And he should just go play baseball. I think he should just go play for the Oakland Athletics. Just go play baseball. 25. Just go play baseball before you get much older, because you're too small to be a quarterback. You can't see over the line. You're not using your legs enough. You do just enough to get your team by. They had their little bit of run last year. They hit a wall when they didn't have DeAndre. I'm just kind of sick of Kyler. I'm just kind of sick. And you touched on the Ertz thing. Listen, I told people weeks ago Ertz was going to go down. I told you this was going to happen. Trey McBride was going to be the answer. Now, this week against the Niners, it's not going to happen. I don't know. First game as a rookie tight end, the best rookie tight end coming out of the class, the number one drafted, the number one prospect. Going against the linebackers of the 49ers, getting full strength? Absolutely not. If he does it, good for him. Kudos. But I'm not playing Trey McBride this week. But if you pick him up this week and he does nothing this week, please don't drop him unless you absolutely have to, because Trey McBride throughout the rest of the year is going to be very involved. Zach Ertz was very involved. McBride is so much more athletic at this point of his career. Obviously, a 21-year-old versus Zach Ertz, 40 at this point. I mean, he's like me running around out there, but he's way better than me. Trust that.
32.
Yeah, 32. Which is basically 40 in football years. So Trey McBride's going to be a good answer. Marquise Hollywood Brown coming back. I think that's going to help greatly because he has the one play. And they have Hopkins now for everything else. They have McBride to fill in for Ertz to a degree. More athletic, more agile at this point in his career. Rondale, they finally got him going. I think the one thing holding Arizona back really is Kyler Murray. It's going on far too long where I'm just not happy with him as a quarterback.
I have him in Dynasty, man. We're doing our big reset this upcoming year, and he's probably not going to be my keeper.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I not that I've been this. I think he doesn't use his legs enough. I think that was the key thing that you said. If he used his legs more, if he was actually more like it, I mean, Justin Fields and him are pretty much the same size. Justin Fields is not that much bigger, but he knows how to utilize his legs. He knows how, and they run the ball that way. Kingsbury, he's not doing that
no.
He doesn't like Kyler Murray. I don't think even though he chose him, he doesn't like Kyler Murray.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. The whole thing started with the contract thing and the reading the playbook and watching the tapes and listen, Kyler was using his legs, and then Kyler got hurt, and ever since then he hasn't been using his legs. Like, he's scared to get hurt. Just quit football. Just quit. Just go play baseball. I'm serious, because he could probably be an all-star in baseball. Like, he could go play for the Oakland Athletics, and probably in about 3 years, right when he hits that 27, 28, which is, you're pushing it as a prospect, like your career is almost over. Although baseball players play till they're 40, he could go to baseball and be an all-star by the time he's 30, I think.
Interesting. I wonder if he could do like that.
Whereas by the time he's 30 in the NFL, he's out of the league.
Yeah.
He's not going to last. He's too small. He's not using his legs. He's afraid of getting hurt again. He can't throw the ball over the line. It's just, I don't know. I'm getting sick of Kyler Murray. He's somebody who we drafted, who many of you watching this drafted just with such high expectations. And whether it's the coaching or whether it's him, it's just not working for me. And the 49ers are just trending in a direction where I think that if it is Kyler Murray in this game, I don't think that even matters. I don't think it even helps. It helps your fantasy assets, catching the ball and running the ball. You asked about James Conner. I mean, yeah, well, it's got to be. Nino's not there anymore. Keontae's going to be the number 2, so James Conner's good to go. But you're going against the Niners defense, so it's just like you might as well just put Colt McCoy out there and suck it up.
I pick up what you're putting down, man.
Game.
All right, final thoughts.
Which is strange. This is a strange one, Rob, because answer my guess, 6 seasons. If you've been watching us, you know that, and I've said it a couple times this year. So maybe I'm getting old. I am getting old. Not maybe. It is what it is.
Age is nothing but a number there, sir.
Yeah, Aaliyah. But I think that we have to start to play it a little safe.
What?
This season is the reason. I'm a poet and I know it. The season is weird. Would we all agree? 2022 has been the craziest. I feel like you could say this every year, but I feel like this year I really mean it. Like, just weird. It's starting to normalize. It is, to a degree. The first 6 weeks were just like, what is this? Did the regular season start? It just doesn't make sense. But it's starting to normalize, but it's weird. And because it's weird, I feel like week 11, if you got a question and your gut is still uneasy about who to go with, I think you got to play it safe. I think you got to go with the game that projects to score more points, at least in your heart of hearts. And the guy who continually gets you a safe floor. I think we got to play for the floors here. Look at your matchups more than ever. Rob, we sort of had a conversation. If anybody watched video 2, where I talked about how I'm probably going to play Taysom Hill this week over Greg Dulcich. Greg Dulcich is probably the safer option because Taysom Hill is so up and down. But I do think that they need to score more points. I think that the New Orleans game is going to be a little more high scoring than the Denver game. But also, I'm playing against Courtland Sutton. And because I don't think Denver is going to score a ton of points, if Sutton scores, the chances are that Dulcich probably isn't going to score. They probably get 2 touchdowns maximum. So my best bet would be to each get 1 or Dulcich gets 2. But there's a chance that Sutton gets 2 and Dulcich gets nothing. So I'm playing it safe. I'm going to go with the upside of Hill. So look at your matchups. Play it safe. This has been a weird season. If you've made it this far and you're still watching us, you're still alive. We talked about records. I think at this point, you got to be right around 4-6. If you're not at least 4-6, I'll see you next year.
But it's been a weird season. Even though you're 4-6, like Guess is saying, going safe might be the best way to go.
That's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, I told you, I made a trade this week that I went name value. I actually used the words, "Hey, I'm going name value here."
Yeah, you did.
I traded Pearson Sutton
for
CMC. I never go name value, and I still am worried about giving up Pierce. I mentioned that earlier, but
you see,
it's been a weird season.
You're doing exactly what I just said. Which you are going safe. You went with CMC over Pearson Sutton because you want something safe, a nice safe floor. And see, without even knowing what I was going to say, you did it.
Name value.
We played safe. I just feel like this season of all seasons, safe is where we need to be in week 11, 2022. Played safe. And it hurts to come out of my teeth. If you've watched us for 6 seasons, safe is not what I like. I like sexy.
Sexy.
So sexy. But I'm feeling safe is the way to be. So trust your gut. Keep it safe. And good luck this week. We'll see you Sunday morning.
Sunday morning. Look for those hashtag guys, and always make sure to follow us on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, and Patreon. We appreciate you all, and we will see you Sunday. Peace.